Good morning. Homicide investigators are searching for a man who's a suspect in the death of his mother. The body of 62-year-old Radelma Belisario was found by family members at her home in Richmond late Tuesday night. An autopsy will be carried out to determine the cause of death. Investigators say 38-year-old Darwin Lascano lived with his mother and had a previous criminal record but not linked to the Richmond address.
If someone saw Darwin Lascano in the last few hours, in the last day, that they can contact us, advise us of what type of contact they had with him, even if they just talked to him on the phone. We're also asking that if you do see Darwin Lascano, do not approach him, contact the police immediately by dialing 911.
RCMP say Lascano may have a shaved head or close cropped hair. He's described as 5'6" and having a slim build. Two of the three teenagers charged in the death of a 19-year-old in Whistler over the weekend have been released on bail. Both 17-year-olds have been released on a number of conditions, including a curfew. A third teen was denied bail. Fourth teen will appear in court today. All four have now been charged with manslaughter. Luka Gordich was stabbed to death following some sort of fight between two groups of people in Whistler Village over the weekend. The teens were released on $5,000 bail.
Nothing's going to totally satisfy us, but we are very happy that at least one individual is held denied bail, and we expected at least the other two to be released, even though we do not agree with it.
Police say the arrest of two men believed to be connected to a series of shootings in Surrey comes about a month after they launched their new tip line. Metro Vancouver's Gang Task Force says 18-year-old Shandinjot Singh Gill faces several firearms charges and one count of trafficking. 21-year-old Munroop Hayer has been charged with possession for the purpose of trafficking. The Combined Forces Special Enforcement Unit says it has received almost 150 calls 1 month after setting up the dedicated tip line. Dozens of shootings in Surrey and Delta since March have left one person dead and others injured. Plans to build a $36 billion liquefied natural gas export facility near Prince Rupert are moving forward. The BC government has signed an agreement in principle with Petronas, a Malaysian energy giant that could lead to the project being built. Premier Christy Clark says the final decision rests with the company, which faces several hurdles. Petronas has to get approval from a First Nations band, which recently rejected $1 billion over 40 years in exchange for its support. Bad news for those who don't like to travel light. Greg Harper joins us from Vancouver International Airport with details on renewed enforcement of luggage rules. Greg.
That's right. Good morning, Jody. Here in the domestic departures area of YVR, lots of Air Canada customers behind me here. Now, Air Canada says that this is designed to speed things up, and this is beginning in Toronto, but eventually this will be Canada-wide, including here at YVR. So what's happening next Monday at Pearson Airport, Air Canada staff will be at gates, they'll be at security check-in points as well, checking people's carry-on bags and making sure they're not too big or too heavy. The airline says the goal of this is to reduce flight delays that have been caused by larger bags being checked in at the gate. So if your carry-ons are too big or too heavy, you won't receive a tag, but you'll be given a special card and sent back to check-in, and that's where you will pay a $25 fee. You'll be taken from one line, put into another. What do you think of this policy? What do you think of the strict enforcement? Here's what you're saying.
Now, in smaller airports, that's not so difficult because you don't have so far to go back to the point. Places like Vancouver, it's going to be awful. Simply awful.
I have to think about that because we don't like delays either, so there's you have to give some consideration to that too.
So take note of this. A personal item such as a laptop computer can't measure over 16 by 33 by 43 centimeters. And a standard item such as a suitcase can't measure over 23 by 40 by 55 centimeters. And in both cases, the weight can't be over 22 pounds. Again, this strict enforcement will likely be in place here at YVR sometime next month. Jody? All right. Thanks so much. Greg Harper reporting live this hour from YVR. Other news for you, David Letterman has officially ended his 33-year run on late-night television.
Folks, before we let this thing get too far down the road, I just want to say a couple of things about Stephen Colbert. I'm very excited. I think he's going to do a wonderful job, and I wish Stephen and his staff and crew nothing but the greatest success. So let's look forward to that. There's nothing I can do to ever repay you. Thank you for everything. You've given me everything. The only thing I have left to do for the last time on a television program, thank you and good night. Here we go.
The Foo Fighters helped close things out after Dave signed off for the very last time. They performed Everlong, a song they first played on The Late Show when Letterman returned after heart surgery in 2000. A long montage of photographs from 3 decades of television history zipped past on the screen as the band played out.